Well,
How are you? How are you fully recovered after last week?
yeah, I'm fully recovered and I'm already like now a week into a new training block. So it's
I
non
seen I seen your Instagram yesterday. That was some heavy sleds.
yeah, I'm sore. I on the day before that too, I had a full like posterior chain workout day. So like my traps, my lats, my
Everywhere.
hamstrings, everything is so sore. And then yesterday pushing and pulling sleds. Um Yeah, so today my body is definitely feeling it, but you get through.
No, it looked tough. It looked tough. How are those recovery boots?
It's funny that you say that. I'm literally
They got them on.
I got them on right now. So they
I've never tried them.
they're the I mean, honestly, I think that this might be my best purchase of all like fitness toys, that I've ever made. I
Yeah.
I was a little bit hesitant always to buy them because I thought, oh, maybe you have to get like the Normatec or like the super expensive ones, but um I got them off of Amazon for like $150 and
And they
they
do the job.
yeah, you plug them into the wall, so it's a little bit annoying because you have to be, connected to the cord. But outside of that, they go up, they're super powerful. They go up like higher compression than what I can actually like handle. And then there's a few different modes on it. And I feel like after, for example, like after long runs or even yesterday after I was done with my sleds and just like felt beat, I just come and sit in them for, 30 minutes and watch TV or play on the computer or do whatever I'm doing. And
Yeah.
it it just helps expedite, I think, the recovery process.
Is that what they recommend? Just 30 minutes at a time, or is it more? Is it just whatever time you have?
I think probably something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Generally, generally I break it up into a couple b blocks throughout the day, a couple like 20 to 25-minute blocks. And, you know, then I've spent somewhere between like 40 minutes to an hour in these boots and um night and day. And especially too if also I'll do like cold shower or like I'll get home from the gym, cold shower, then come sit in the boots and because the cold shower will help reduce all the inflammation, but then this will kind of get blood flowing again. And
Yeah.
yeah. How are you?
Yeah, it's all gonna help, isn't it?
Yeah. How are you feeling from now that you're a
So
few weeks out and you're
yeah.
starting your weightlifting stuff?
Yeah, so I'm fully recovered in terms of like the leg fatigue and stuff that I had last week on the back of the race. I am starting to notice a little bit of a drop in energy. Not like nothing to worry about. I'm just obviously I'm in a deficit now for this little cut, and I'm comparing it to when I was in a surplus, really, for me Hyrox training. So it's chalk and cheese, the two different diets. But I mean, for me Hyrox block, I fuel to perform, whereas this one is a little bit of fuel to
Yeah.
look good, look a little bit different. It's a cut, it's a body recomposition. So um today is the first day that I've noticed a little bit of a drop in energy. But that was to be expected. Like I say, a drop in the amount of calories that I have compared to those calories that I was taking in from my high rocks block. But now feeling good other than that. The strength's still there. Um,
That's good.
and I do put that down to I think I said to you, I did a lot of strength work going into that high rocks race. So the strength is there. It'll just be interesting to see if I can keep that strength throughout the 8 weeks, being on less calories and stuff. But
Yeah.
no, it's a good start. I've enjoyed the first 2 weeks. I've had me three strength sessions this week already. I'm left with a couple of little runs that I'll get done over the next few days. So no, good start, enjoying it. Just good to be back in, just shifting weight for a few days of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Are you mixing in any like high intensity training too?
So I haven't as of yet, but I know what I'm like, what I've been used to for
Yeah,
almost 2 years that I will want to do it. So it might come in like just a gym class.
yeah,
The gym I'm at have good classes, high rocks classes, high intensity classes. So I might get a couple in when I can, when I've got some spare time. But really the only structure that I have is going to be three strength sessions and two easier runs.
yeah,
Um, I'm going to try and get some like core workouts in there as well when I can. But I will be putting some high intensity training in here and there, but nothing too much. Probably just to keep me hand in that sort of training. Um, Obviously I enjoy it. It's been what I've been doing for the last couple of years. So no,
yeah.
I'll definitely put something in.
No, it's good. Um,
Yeah.
I think it helps add a little bit of like extra turbo boost sometimes doing the high intensity stuff. But
Yeah.
you brought up something at the beginning of when you were talking about, you know, today is the first day where you're starting to feel like a little bit of the energy difference, like you notice that you're a little bit
Yeah.
in a deficit. And I want I want to talk about that and how it also connects to High Rocks because I think a lot of times what will happen is people see the people who do High Rocks like at the elite level and they think, "Oh, wow, I need to do High Rocks in order to get into great shape like those people." Or uh,
Yeah.
and they see like how shredded these guys are. And I think it's a bit of a misconception that because High Rocks is at the end of the day, it's an endurance sport. It's over an extended, long period of time. It's different than, a triathlon or a marathon or
Yeah.
really long biking, but it's still an endurance sport. Um, but most of those guys that you see that are like jacked, like Hunter McIntyre or Cole Learn,
Just pull you down. Yeah. Sorry, I was just pulling you down a little bit
oh, you're
lower on
good.
my screen.
Most of the guys that are super jacked that are doing that you see on Instagram doing high rocks races or even the Elite 15 guys that are like
Yeah.
noticeably more jacked than the other guys. Those guys all come from a background of like bodybuilding, weightlifting, CrossFit, something where they're
100%.
moving heavy weights around, and then they added over time this endurance element um, to it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So the reason I bring that up and why I think it ties um, to like food and nutrition is because when you're fueling to perform, you need more food. You just need to have extra energy to be able to use for life, but then also to be able to go into your workouts. And then you need to be eating after the workouts so that way you can recover properly for the next workout. Um, Whereas I think a lot of people will, which this is totally fine. They can do this if they want to go in and do hybrid training to try and do some body recomposition. I think it can work. Uh, but you just have to accept the fact that you're not going to be able to perform in the races at the highest of your possible level.
No,
Um,
definitely not. Definitely
so
not. I mean, 100% agree with what you're saying. I mean, I'm already feeling, well, I'm saying today is the first day I felt a little bit drop in my energy. So I'm anticipating that in 3, 4 weeks' time, I don't think I'll be able to lift as heavy. And that's
yeah,
purely because I won't be fueling. And to be honest, that isn't the whole intention of the little block anyway. But I'm just backing your point up that I'm not fueling to perform at the minute. So
right.
the strength and performance and me performance levels, they will take a little bit of a dip. Um, so yeah, when it comes to high rocks hybrid training, 100%. And I've learned the hard way on that as well when I first got into all this type of training on the back of like the body transformations that I spoke about that I've went through. I was in such how do I put it? The way I thought about getting lean and nutrition back then was just so wrong. I've mentioned before that I used to have bare minimum breakfast. I'd effectively starve myself the
Yeah,
whole day, get through to tea, um, go to bed. And I used to think that was the best way to lose fat, lose weight, tone up, get lean. Um, but that just is not the case at all. So in between breakfast, starved myself tea, I was going to work, I was training. The sessions were high intensity as well.
Yeah.
I was just so run down as well. So yeah, nutrition is massive. You've got to eat to perform. I can't remember who said this, but it's always stuck to us that you should see your body as like a car. You would never try and take the car out for a drive without putting
Yeah.
fuel,
Yes.
petrol, diesel in. Your body's exactly the same. It needs that to perform. So I remember since hearing that, that has changed my thinking on nutrition and stuff, and it's 100% right.
Where do you notice it first? Like the tiredness. Do you feel it just like you're hungry? Do you feel like you can't think as well? Where do you where do you start to notice it the most?
I noticed it today when I was in the office, and I could have I could have fell asleep.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. What I'm trying to think what time that was. That would have been 10 o'clock. So I'll have ate.
Early.
Yeah. And that's what I noticed straight away. I eat at 7 o'clock. I went into the office. I got a good night's sleep as well. Got me 8 hours. But that was the first time I've noticed today that I could have nodded off. If I didn't have work to do, or if I was working at home at that time,
Yeah.
could have had a little nap. So yeah, that was the first time I noticed that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Hmm.
I know for me, I don't necessarily feel tired because I have a tough time falling asleep if I am hungry. Um, but I notice it in like my patience, how much, you know, energy I have to be like willing to sit and listen, or if
Yeah,
my boss is giving me feedback, or if my fiance wants me to do something, or is frustrated because I left dishes in the sink or something silly, and
yeah,
that's where I notice. But um but it's tough though too, because even for me right now, as I'm starting back up this training block, so like in Hyrox, you go through like the base of like your base building, and then you start to like tailor it, and then towards the end it's like peak performance, where hopefully you're peaking like a week to 5 days away, so that way you can also taper. Um, and during that time you're lifting less weights, and you are um, doing more compromise running, but the volume starts to lessen as you get closer and closer to the race. And so now that I'm getting back into high volume and heavy weights, my body all of a sudden is so hungry all the time. And even on even on the days where I don't have like a heavy session. For example, um today I haven't even worked out yet, and
yeah,
like I've already eaten twice. It's noon where I'm at, so like I guess it's fine, but I just feel like it's so hard to keep up with the amount of food. And yesterday too, I it was the same. I had only worked out in the evening. I did the heavy sled session, and um all day from the day before I was like really hungry. So, and I feel like I'm eating enough when I'm eating, but then it's just constant. So,
yeah, yeah.
um
No, it's key, definitely. People should start um looking into nutrition a little bit more, like you say, if they're on the thinking of getting lean, if that's the goal, thinking they
yeah,
need to undereat effectively, not fuel the body properly. It's critical for getting in good shape.
absolutely. Um So I know that we wanted to talk too about like how do you structure training if you don't really know where to start? And I think that also kind of what we were talking about with the nutrition and stuff is a good kind of segue into for anybody that wants to start training for a high rocks. Where do I even begin? You've decided, okay, there's a race, and the race is 12 weeks away. I have 12 weeks to train. What
Yeah.
do what should I do? Where do I start? I know I need to lift weights. I know I need to run. I know I need to do, use the ski erg and the rower. And,
Yeah.
but like, how do I put it all together so that way I show up on race day and can complete it?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, getting into the first high rocks, like you say, complete beginner. Maybe push for time. That's what we need to like think of as well. People have families, busy jobs, social life as well. So sometimes it is hard to train 5, 6 times a week. And we've mentioned this before in like previous weeks that it's easy to fall into the trap of seeing things on social media and thinking that's what I need to do. I need to be trained 5 times a week. So my advice to like beginners or people, not necessarily beginners in terms of training, but anyone getting into high rocks, I would say if you are struggling on time, personally, I think you can do it on 3 sessions a week. And I would say we would need to get like a run in there, some strength training in there, and like a compromised workout session in there as well. What I mean by that is like IROC specific exercises in the workout, but also incorporating running in there as well and getting your body used to working under fatigue, which is a massive part of the High Rocks race itself. So yeah, I think bare minimum, if you are thinking of getting into a race, the one bit of advice I'd give before getting into training is you do need to be comfortable at running between 8 and 10 kilometers. There's no getting around that fact for me. I don't think you might disagree, but the race itself is 8 1 kilometer runs, and then you've got some hidden running in there as well. Running between the stations from your run to the station, which is called the rock zone. So all in all, I think you're going to be running about 10 kilometers. So one, I would suggest getting comfortable with running. And if you're already comfortable at running, that's brilliant. You then just structure your week like how we're gonna explain it, or you might have a slightly different opinion to me, but I would say one strength session, and I would mainly, if we're only getting one strength session in a week, I would suggest focusing on lower body strength session with some upper body strength session in there as well. But the High Rocks race is really leg heavy. So I would work on sort of leg strength, explosive leg strength as well, to work alongside your running. Um, so yeah, that would be my bit of advice just for anyone thinking of getting into a race and worrying what training sessions they should be doing. I would, just to summarize, I would get at least one run in there a week. If we were pushed for time, one strength session, focusing on lower body strength. If we can do two strength sessions, upper body and lower body, brilliant. And then get like a high rock specific session in there as well. Um, what about you? Do you have any other
Hmm.
suggestions or different opinions to what I've just said?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it also depends on like how far out people are from whatever their race is. And I would say like for what you just outlined, I think that would be perfect if someone only has like 6 weeks to train for a race. Um, but I think honestly, if you have more time than that, uh, like if there was a 12, if you had 12 weeks, or honestly even like 10 or 8 weeks, I would encourage whoever it is to take a look at what are their strengths initially. Are they, a runner coming into it and they don't have the strength, or
Yeah,
are
it's a good
they
point.
someone that's stronger and then coming in and needing to develop their aerobic capacity? More
Yeah,
often than, I feel like more often than not with the general population, more people are coming into it with the strength and need to develop the running.
yeah,
And it's tough because it's so much harder to develop the running than it is to develop, the strength to be able to do some lunges or push some sleds. Um, but I would probably say if you have 12 weeks, 3 months before a race, I would take the first 4 to 6 weeks and just use that for uh like engine building. I would do 2 sessions of like one long run, one easy run, and one strength session. If you only have time for three, like a traditional strength session, focus mostly on, I agree with you, legs, just to really
Yeah.
build up like max strength. Then once that, 4 to 6 weeks is over, then I would taper off of the super max strength and I would focus more on like race load efforts. Um, Focus more on race load efforts. I would start to incorporate some more like speed or threshold running so that way the person can get comfortable at running at the heart rate that they're going to need to be running at when they try to put it all together. Uh, and,
Yeah.
and then I would probably if they're at a place where they feel comfortable with the long run, I think long runs are great, but also if you're short on time, I would rather them spend 90 minutes zone 2 on the bike or the Stairmaster or the elliptical or go for a hike where they're not doing all this impact on their body. Um,
Yeah.
and that way they can save that impact for the threshold session. Uh, and then still continue strength. And then as it gets closer to, 3 weeks out from the race, then I would start to incorporate more of the compromise running. And I think that having like those layers can kind of help people come into the race a little bit less burnt out. Because I think sometimes what happens is people who have no experience training for something and maybe they were just been going to the gym and do the gym bro split where they do push pull legs and maybe do 20 minutes of walking cardio or something at the end.
Yeah.
um it can be a little bit of a shock, I think, to then all of a sudden try to do all this high intensity stuff and your legs feel heavy all the time. The compromise running can take a lot of toll on your nervous system where you're pushing a heavy sled and then going and running 400 meters and then you're repeating it a million times. So
Yeah.
that would probably be my recommendation. But overall, I like agree that you need to be doing some sort of weight training and it needs to be lower body dominant.
Yeah.
I also would say like lower body, but more importantly, the back side of your body. Like your posterior chain is going to be like the most important thing to develop for high rocks. Like if there was only one movement, I think that I would I would tell people to deadlift. If there's only one movement, if you can only pick one weightlifting exercise, just go deadlift.
On the back of that, when you're saying deadlift, do you have any preference, traditional deadlift or trap bar deadlift? And the only reason I ask that is because even myself, my hip mobility and mobility in general is probably poorer than it should be. So sometimes when the weight gets heavier, I struggle with the traditional deadlift because I can't get as low in the setup. Whereas I find the trap bar, well, the trap bar helps me with me setup effectively. So I know my last block, if I was lifting heavier, I'd go trap bar. But then because in the traditional deadlift, it becomes more of a Romanian deadlift. Sorry if I'm a bit technical for people. And then I'm putting a lot more strain on my back, whereas I'm not using the muscles that you're
Yeah.
talking about. So then I would go to trap bar. So do you think there's a difference in the two training for high rocks, or do you think either or whatever people are comfortable training?
Yeah. Well, first, let me delineate between a traditional deadlift and a Romanian deadlift for people just in case if they don't know what they are. So,
Yeah,
uh, a traditional deadlift is when usually it's with a barbell and you have the weights on either side, and then you are squatting down, grabbing the bar that's in front of you. It's usually kind of close to your shins, and your butt is down low. So you're almost like in this seated type of position, and then you drive through your heels, trying to keep the bar as close to your legs as possible to stand upright. Whereas on the flip side of that, a Romanian deadlift, which is one of my favorite exercises ever, is uh, not as deep of a knee bend. In fact, you don't really bend your knees at all. It's just kind of like a soft bend, and really you're you're using more of your back and more of your hamstrings and your glutes rather than your quads and glutes. And you kind of have to engage your lats a bit just in general on a deadlift.
You're
So
effectively hinging at your hip, aren't you,
exactly.
rather than a squat. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a perfect description. You're hinging rather than a squatting down. And so I think that and that's also the reason why I tell people like deadlift because I incorporate both or really all three, traditional trap bar um RDL, Romanian deadlift, and also in different like varieties because you can do them single leg with dumbbells, you can or kettlebells. Uh, if you don't have a trap bar, you can use kettlebells instead, kind of like a suitcase deadlift.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it depends on what type of adaptation that you're trying to make or what you're training for. So, for example, if I'm trying to get much stronger at the sled pull, I would encourage someone to be spending more time building strength through the Romanian deadlift motion because that's going to be mostly posterior chain, similar working parts as what you'd be doing in
Yeah.
a sled pull. Whereas on the flip side of that, the sled push, even the lunges, I would encourage somebody to do a traditional deadlift and even better than that, a trap bar deadlift because then you don't have to worry about the bar coming up over your knees and you have that
Yeah.
hip angle. You can just sit down as far as you can, grab the handles, and then drive up. But not a, I don't know, the gym that I go to doesn't have a trap bar, so I end up just doing traditional or
Yeah.
using kettlebells. But
Mhm.
I love the trap bar. I think it's a great tool. I also think it's a great tool for building more explosiveness too, because
Yeah.
you can do you can do like more explosive movements with it. So you can do, jumping deadlifts where
Just gonna mention the jumps.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're using light weight, you're coming up and exploding up at the top, or if you don't want to jump, you can just go into like a, you know, calf raise. Um, so lots of versatility with it. So
Yeah. No, you're good. You're right. Good explanations. It's funny. You've mentioned single leg movements there. Something else that's critical. Um, Everyone should really incorporate into their strength training for Hyrox. Um, yeah, big part of it, big part, which will be beneficial for anyone that goes into a race.
100%. Because you think about it, especially with all the running, you're constantly loading one side of the body or the other.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, through this training block, I'm doing 3 strength training days, and one one day is like specifically unilateral, just like
yeah,
so it takes so long and it's annoying because you have to do 6 reps, 8 reps, 4 reps, whatever it is, but then you got to do it twice. And then you do it 4 times. So now you're really doing 8 sets. So
yeah,
it is annoying, but it's really important to so you don't get injured, don't have imbalances.
yeah. I do think it's like a good point we have raised though that strength training does need to be looked into, followed properly, because I do think there's a tendency for people now just to think, oh, it's a running race, and just put all the eggs in the running basket effectively,
Mhm.
and then which is fine. Like people can run fast, but then you'll find they are like blowing up on the stations and stuff. So for anyone new to it, not really sure what to expect, yes, it's a running race. You'll always hear people saying the running is more than half of the race, almost 60% of it, maybe if you work out the time and stuff like that. But honestly, my biggest bit of advice is don't neglect the strength training, especially the lower body strength training, which I've mentioned. Um, yeah, I just feel like if you go into a race, and especially if you're looking to get a competitive time, PB, anything like that, if you're lacking on the lower body strength on race day, I think it will tell, and that'll be where your race time takes a little bit of a hit in terms of the time.
Yeah.
Um, Compared to those that have really put the strength training timing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, but like I say, um, for any beginner that is finally decided to book a Hyrox race, hopefully on the back of the benefits we've discussed in previous weeks and stuff, my I would say minimum baseline of training that I would suggest, if we could only get 3, 4 sessions in a week, because I know people have busy lives, just to go over that again. Work on your running, strength training, which Jacob is like discussed in a little bit more detail as well. And yeah, depending on sort of your time before your race, how long you've got before your race, there could be different stages, as Jacob's like rightly explained, but getting some high rock specific, some compromised workouts in there as well. And hopefully come race day, you do feel prepared and one, enjoy it, but then two, really give a good account of yourselves. If you're anything like me, you're competitive within yourself, and always want to do well. So yeah, that's definitely what I would suggest.
absolutely.
Yeah, nice talking to you, mate. See you next week.
All right, bye.
Bye.